Welcome, everybody. This is Diconium Talks, #snackable. I'm your host for today. I'm Andreas, manager at Diconium Strategy, helping companies developing their e-commerce strategy in B2B or B2C. And I'm here today with Yukai. I say hi to Taiwan. Hi, it's nice to have you
here. Thanks for having me.
Before we start to talk about gamification, the Octalis Framework, I want to frame it a bit. Yeah, we have two trends, latest trends. One is direct to consumer. So brands, manufacturers want to sell directly to consumers and get to know better those consumers and learn from that and develop better products. And of course, as well, bonding. And when it comes to bonding, it's about loyalty. And the other latest trend is the metaverse, the NFT. And this is a topic, obviously, we cannot go by. We have to mention that as well and talk about that as well. And I think for both topics, it's all about loyalty. It's all about gamification. And the Octalis Framework is a tool set for that. Maybe in the beginning, if you look back the past 12 months, and it would have been an action or comedy movie or thriller, what would you say? What kind of movie would it have been?
For myself?
Yes, for yourself.
Yeah, I would say it's the first out of a 3-part epic for a great adventure type of movie series. So It's only part one. The part one's usually the build-up, the excitement, all the hopefulness, and some danger, but not the final boss, not the final challenge yet. So I say it's the first installment out of the 3.
So building up the character, setting up the stage, basically, yeah.
Yes, a new phase has begun.
A new phase. We start also with a new phase because a lot of people don't know what is gamification. How would you describe gamification in your own words to someone who hasn't have any touch points so far?
Yeah, so gamification is applying all the fun, exciting elements in games and applying that to non-game contexts, things that you should do that are important, but you potentially don't want to do. So it's making basically important tasks enjoyable, making sales or working more enjoyable, making exercise more enjoyable, learning more enjoyable. Everything that's important, we want to make it more fun and engaging. And that's gamification.
Mm-hmm. And we talked last week quickly about why is it trending now and it had some up and downs, the topic. How would you describe that? Why is it now more trendy than maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Yeah, so I think 5, 6, 7 years, there's a bigger hype about gamification because the promise is amazing, right? If I just said, hey, you make boring things engaging like a game, wouldn't every company hope their customers love their products or their experiences like a game, just want to go on all the time and tell their friends about it? That would be amazing, right? But 6, 7 years ago, the industry wasn't very mature. There's a lot of companies that basically slap on points and badges to everything, and they think that's gamification. And I think now the industry is maturing more and more. And so it's actually good game design, good solutions applied to important problems. And it's not just making it look like a game, it's actually making the important problems get solved. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is because the world is changing so quickly, and also because of COVID, et cetera, a lot of big companies feel like they have to innovate now. Before, this could just be a novelty item. Hey, it's kind of interesting to learn about this, but we don't necessarily need to commit to anything because we're making so much money comfortably right now. But after COVID and potentially other issues in the world right now, a lot of these big companies realize if they just act on their own inertia, they are probably going to go out of business. So they need to innovate. And as they look around, they see gamification as being one of the most important things to engage this new generation of customers and even employees to be driven and create, like you said, bonding and engagement to their brand and their products.
How is your journey? How was your journey to the gamification? How did you come up with the Octalis framework?
Yeah, so the Octalis framework came in 2012. I started working and researching gamification in 2003. Mm-hmm. And then after 9 years, 2012, I've had enough experience where I decided I wanted to create a framework to basically scale up good gamification design. So it's called the Octalysis Framework because it's an octagon and analysis combined together. And it basically breaks down all human motivation into the 8 core drives. And so what I wanted to study is, why do people spend so much time playing a game that has no usefulness outside of the game? And they can spend 5, 6, 7 hours doing this. Whereas important things in life, we know we should do it. It benefits us, but we don't want to spend any time at all. And it's really to apply all the things we find in games, those 8 core drives of motivation, into the business environment. And this is how I came up with the Octalysis.
And would you say loyalty programs, without considering those gamification attributes and this 8 parts of the Octalysis framework, are doomed? They would not work? Would you say that?
Yeah, I think most loyalty programs are what I call mercenary programs. They don't really create loyalty, they create mercenaries, right? Because if you always go for who pays you the most, then you by definition have no loyalty, right? Yes. And a true company that has loyal customers know how to engage them, knows how to connect with them. So they're passionate. And so most of the brands with the biggest loyal customers, they actually don't offer a lot of discounts. They actually offer premium pricing. And when people criticize the company for being overpriced, their customers defend it. Like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This company is best. They protect the planet, and their products are so quality, right? Mm-hmm. That's true loyalty. You defend that company with your life, and you paid more money for it, and you volunteer to help them solve all sorts of problems. That's loyalty. And so if you want to truly engage people in the future, you can't just pay them because, that's like a price war. Everyone's just trying to pay more, and that's not sustainable. And so the next generation is not just about, oh, who's going to give me more money? It's whose company's values I agree with, because in games, I always save the world, right? So the real world, why am I just doing boring stuff? I also want to contribute to how this company is saving the world. I want to have meaningful choices, autonomy. I want to have self-expression. I want to show a meaningful progression in your loyalty program, right? I want, just like in a game, you have level 1 and you go to level 10. Instead of just buy 10, get 1 free, buy 10, get 1 free. I want to grow in this journey and become more a senior player in your brand. And I want to connect with other people who are allies of me to play this game together. So I think all those things are important to create true loyalty in the future.
This modern companies who are looking more into purpose-driven and what is our purpose, and then transporting that to customers, they're on a more natural way to engage with customers, and compared to, let's say, with companies with a big heritage. Is that right?
Yeah. So the purpose is the first step, right? And you want to be part of a game worth playing, a journey worth being part of. And what's interesting is that some companies, their marketing actually has this promise of this epic journey, right? Because this company hired a marketing agency, and marketing agencies understand engagement design more. So they'll promise like, oh, you'll save the world with us. We make the world a better place. And some people feel very touched by it. The problem is the marketing agency, their KPI is to just say, pass the customer to the business, and then they buy, and that's done, right? So a lot of people become a customer and they realize, wait, what happened? What happened to all this epic world-saving stuff? What's going on? And because the people creating a product, they might even not know this advertising campaign is going on. And there's just a broken promise in that. So in gamification, the idea is to take that promise and really fulfill it to the ends of the journey, and make users what we call an end game perpetual user, where they're always coming back, and they're even telling their children to use this company when they grow up.
Now, the past, let's say 12, 18 months, we were talking a lot about the metaverse, NFTs. How would you frame the topic also in regards to gamification?
Yeah, so when we talk about gamification is actually a design philosophy, design principle. It's not a technology. Just like games could be World of Warcraft, like a lot of technology, but it can also be hide and seek, no technology, just fun game rules that appeal to us through those 8 core drives. And so gamification can be in email, scavenger hunts, can be physical world, can be 3D, could be metaverse, could be NFTs, whatnot. And so you look at trends, right? Technology trends, the metaverse is important because if you think about, let's say now you're at the beginning of the internet, right? 1990, 7, let's say, right? And wow, this internet might be the future. All businesses will do a lot of stuff on the internet. And whoever understands this early, whoever invests in early and really do foundational good work in it, they're going to be the big winners. So now we have the same thing, the metaverse. Imagine if the majority of human activities will be done in this 3D virtual world called the metaverse and its persistence. And so I think it's very, very important for companies to come in and learn and grow and create foundation, right? I'm sure, and I know in 1997, a lot of companies like, oh, that's a fad. It's so weird. Only geeks do it or only kids like it. And I think we're seeing the same thing with the metaverse. And imagine if you dominated the internet right now, you'd be a much stronger business. So I think that's the opportunity of the metaverse. Then Web3 is the same thing in terms of the NFTs, cryptocurrency. That's how we protect value to make sure it's not infinitely duplicable. And the way I explain that is that, I'm a published author and I've sold over 100,000 books out there. And those books are fungible. They're all the same. People just want the knowledge and the words. So people can trade it. The audio book's just as good. The ebook is good too. But in my lifetime, I've signed about 200 to 300 books only. And those books that I sign are non-fungible. It has extra meaning and it's not just easily tradable to others. And so the NFTs and Web3 is about how do you actually have scarce, important, deeper meaning in a digital world. So I think those trends are important to understand. And then gamification is like the web that connects things together, because those are just the technology. But the gamification are the game rules that use the technology to make it an engaging experience. So I think you need these 3 components together. If you just have technology, you've just a virtual world. I'm sure 5 years ago, people have the experience of putting on a VR headset and they're like, oh, this is cool. And then they're like, okay, I guess I'm done. Here you go, right? Because there's no game design and there's no meaningful choices, no social influence, there's no unpredictability. And it's just a technology. And we want to be able to apply good gamification design to these technologies to create true engagement. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, you mentioned before innovation. Yeah, when you talk to customers, to companies about gamification, how would you describe the transformative force of gamification? Because you said earlier, okay, it forces company to innovate. How would you describe this transformational force?
Yeah, so most companies are kind of function focused. They assume people already will buy their products, they'll make money. So they optimize on efficiency, right? Function. But what we want to do is be human focused. We want to assume that people have feelings, have motivations, they have insecurities, they have reasons why to do or do not want to do something. So you can't take it for granted. And we want to optimize for human motivation and human feelings. And I think that's a big shift most companies are not trained to do, because even in school, we're trained to be function focused, right? Not go with empathy, not go with feelings, but go with logical problem solving. Yeah. So a lot of times I ask a lot of executives at big companies and they'll tell me, oh, we have a lot of social influence design because we have these social buttons. And I just said, hey, so if you're a user, you went on the side, you see these social buttons. Do you actually feel socially connect with people and being socially appreciated? And they'll think about it, they'll feel it, and they'll say, oh, no, I think it's going to be really gimmicky, right? Mm-hmm. So they have a full capability of knowing this is gimmicky and there's actually no real social influence, but they're not used to turning on this muscle. They're used to thinking logically, oh, I have many, many social features, so it must have a lot of social influence. And so I think that's a paradigm shift that a lot of companies needs to go through, which is forget some of things we learned in school. Sometimes don't even look at data because it's about short-term urgency, but not long-term happiness, and actually feel the experience, say, all right, this is where customers are happy and they want to stay there for longer.
Thanks for the introduction into gamification, your point of view on the also NFT and the metaverse. What is your agenda for the next 12 months beside of the topic Octalysis and gamification?
Yeah, so my staple in the metaverse Web3 world is something called metablocks.co. And it's something that harnesses NFT technology to connect to the digital metaverse, to the real world. So what we're doing is we are turning each real world location, like San Francisco or Miami, into an NFT. And in order to make the NFT more valuable, people have to connect meaningful memories that happen there. So we want to preserve humanity's most important memories onto the blockchain, so it doesn't just live on one single server like Google Drive or Google Photos. And so once we have this memory part in, so, because in the real world, there's two things, there's few more, but two things that are timeless are real estate and memories, right? Human memories, legends of the past. We want to preserve them on the blockchain, but also we want to connect to the metaverse, where we want people in the digital metaverse to be able to earn digital cosmetics and goods, whatnot, by going to physical locations, having adventure, and then uploading the memory with other people. So if you think back to the days of Pokemon Go, now there's a lot of ups and downs of Pokemon Go. Some people don't like it, some people like it. But one thing that almost everyone agrees is very positive is Pokemon Go got people to go outside more, to be more active and be in the wilderness and whatnot, as opposed to just be on their computers all day long. And this is what we want to achieve with Meta Blocks. In order to improve in the metaverse, you actually need to go to physical location, the real world, and have meaningful relations with other people. So that is something we're very passionate about building, and just having our stance in terms of connecting gamification design to Web3, NFTs, and also to the metaverse.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting to connect the memories on the blockchain. Yeah, thank you for joining this videocast session. We will link also the meta blocks here in the comments, and we will also do the connection to our Diconium trend report, the future edition, where we talk also about gamification, the Octalis Framework. It was nice having you here. From Taiwan and Germany connected. And thanks, Yukai.
Thank you. Look forward to future collaborations. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.